Right. I go through her phone, but not as often as I should.
And the boy never seems to be on his phone.
He's on Discord. He plays video games. He's not texting his friends. He's talking to his friends. That's where the difference is. And my boy is he's just slower to develop. And that's the way it is with girls and boys.
The hormone monster hasn't visited him
the hormone monsters visited him, I'm sure of it, but not the girl crazy time. He's not there, and I'm not sure he will get there for a while.
I think he's too interested in video games.
He's way too interested in video games. I mean, we know other kids his age that are very interested in girls. And my kid.
Let's talk about that. When we're at Dunkin'.
Oh, that was funny. So we have 6 boys and 1 girl.
And we went to Dunkin' in the morning to drop the kids off to their parents.
Mm-hmm. And they're all about 13, 14, all the boys.
And this group of girls walks out of Dunkin' while we're sitting outside waiting for them to leave. And only 1 boy out of the 6 looked up at the girls.
And watched them pass.
And watched them and smiled at them. Like, and me and the girl were talking, and I was like, the hormone monster has definitely visited him. And she left.
Yeah, so it's it's his friends. His friends are just not into that right now, and that's completely cool.
Yeah, but it's gonna get weird. So
take it one
because
day at a time.
because our other friend one of our friends has the same age son as we do, and he has a girlfriend, and he is very sexually.
He's like the girl a little bit.
So he's girl crazy, and he's found himself, and he's the same age.
Same age.
Wait, how many months are they apart?
I think Elias is older.
Oh yeah, because
just by a few months.
December. Yeah.
Yeah. So Elias is about 2 months older.
Yeah. And maybe it also has to do with parenting, because our friend is very sexual. That's just how she is. But not like in front of the kids. But
no, not in front of the kids.
I'm just saying that's just who she is, and so, hereditary thing maybe?
No, I used to be like that 10 years ago.
But you're way older.
I'm not like that anymore.
But
I was
older.
super like that when I was about 10 years ago.
So you were very late
and I'm
bloomer?
I'm what? 4 years older than her? 5 years?
What were we discussing? You being a late bloomer?
No, I was a lot like her when I was about 10 years ago. Very open and talked about it all the time, and was very dirty mind, and maybe didn't talk about masturbation as much, but...
Okay. Alright. But the reason why we would... I don't know. All this just... Having so many teenagers in the house... I couldn't even talk right there. Having so many teenagers in the house, just like... All these thoughts, because when my oldest, she was always boy crazy since she came out of the womb, I swear to you. But like, I feel she just, I don't even know. Now I know that, she's sexually active. She has a boyfriend. They've been together for over a year, and, we're very open about talking about stuff with her. We even went and gave her a shit ton of condoms, because her birth control was,
condoms that we happened upon. It was very funny and kind of faded.
Because she ran out of her birth control, and she didn't know she had to make an appointment.
And the next day...
No, the same day, wasn't it?
I don't know, we went to the Mercury game, and there was a Planned Parenthood booth with condoms, and we're like, oh, look at that.
I was like, here, just in case, if, before you go get your prescription
refilled. I
refilled.
put them all in my purse, and I'm still finding condoms in my purse.
Hey, at least, I told her too when I gave it to her, I said, you're too young and I'm too young to be a nana. But there's a lot of people from high school that are my age that are nanas. I still feel that's kind of too young. But everybody had kids so
no
early.
judgments.
40-year-old Nana?
It's
Being a grandma at 40?
I know.
I
There's
feel
people
like
my
that's
age
young.
who are nanas.
Don't you feel that's really young?
I do feel it's young, but
I'm
I
not
can't
judging.
judge them.
I'm not judging. I'm saying it feels very young.
I told my kids they have to wait until I'm 50
To have kids?
to make me a grandma.
So they have 12 more years.
Uh-huh. And I think the boy will wait.
So 25 for the girl?
23.
Oh, 24. She's 12.
Yeah, 24. I was 24 when I had Eli. Boy. When I had boy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I was 23 when I had my oldest. She was born in 2000 though. And then me and her mom got together in 2003. But I've known her since she was in the womb. So it's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been her stepmom since 2003. It's a long time.
It is.
I love her.
I know.
I get sad that she's older.
I know.
Why do they have to grow up? And it's strange coming from a person who hasn't biologically had children, but I've helped raise many children, and I have lots of nieces and nephews that fucking I loved with all my heart, that I was really close to when they were younger, and now that they're older, we're not really close at all. And I don't know. Maybe we should foster. I love kids. Don't look at me that way.
I know you love kids.
I know that we shouldn't have another one. We should just get older ones.
I'd be okay with that.
Okay. And then you could have parties all the time. Birthday parties. You love to throw these parties.
Oh my god. They are like, I wait all year for one of them to turn older. That was sarcasm.
And sorry you guys for just not putting out a podcast in a week. We were trying to do it twice a week, but this weekend was crazy with the birthday. And guess what today is? National Podcast Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So happy National Podcast Day. You know what, you guys? You need to... Oh, did I say we're going to have a contest?
Yeah, I think we should wait to announce that, though, until we're a little bit more ready.
Am I having deja vu?
No. You just mentioned that last night, but we're sitting in the same spots we are now.
Oh. Alright.
So I think we should do a question.
Oh. So, like the same format as last week, when we were driving in the car and it was super noisy, she has her postcards, or little cards, what are they called?
I have index cards.
Those are what they're called. And she's gonna do a random number, and it's going to be a question or subject, and she's gonna ask questions.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Number 5?
Number 5.
What is it?
It's about your PMDD.
Oh. Let's see if
It just goes right along with what we were talking about.
That'll be great. Well, I mentioned before that my PMDD hasn't been bad, but like now that I'm not working full time, I think I'm noticing it more.
So how long have you had it?
All my life.
No, I mean, how long have you been diagnosed?
2013.
2013.
2013 or 2014.
So what were the symptoms that made you go into the doctor?
Suicidal thoughts. I had like 9 of 12 symptoms. And so I went with the person that I was dating at the time. Because I self-diagnosed myself years before. Like in 2011, I think I self-diagnosed myself, but I didn't do anything about it until I was in a relationship with somebody. And she was like, I think you need to go to the doctor. And so we went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, how many symptoms do you have? And so we went through the symptoms, and I can tell you, usually it's self-diagnosable, So back then, it was a lot worse, and I feel like it's getting better as I get older. But once I'm not active, I feel like I'm noticing it. Like this month, last month,
Because you're not busy and
I'm
your
not
head's
busy.
not on something else.
Yeah. So, but back in the day, it was a lot worse. Not physically, because I was way physically active back in the day because I was working in a warehouse pulling auto parts. So I was physically active. I was so slim and like I was buff. Like my muscle, I was healthy. But the only thing that was the issue was emotionally and some physical pains. So when I went, so these are the symptoms. And also I stutter when it's bad. So it sucks. So pains in the areas, breasts, muscles, or pelvis. So these are symptoms that I'm having currently. I have softness. My breasts hurt. My muscles every month, usually right before I ovulate. My hip goes out. So what I found out is my joints inflame because I read somebody had this happens to them. So the joints get inflamed and it's hard for me to walk and move, and it sucks. Anger I really don't have. I've learned to control my anger, but back then I'd get angry like fuck. Like I've yelled at people and it was just bad. I used to have horrible anxiety, paranoia, hopelessness, mood swings like crazy, panic attacks, sadness, excessive sleepiness or insomnia, those would switch off, crying or irritability. My appetite changes like crazy. Like right before, like 2 weeks, I'm not hungry at all. I've been forcing myself to eat this week. Bloating, depression, a little bit. Diminished interest in usual activities. Economic or social dysfunction due to the symptoms, which is true because like last week I was just like, when we were going to the bar, I was like, now that we're here, I don't want to talk to anybody. And it's hard for me to make eye contact with people because I don't want to engage in conversation, and I just don't want to feel things. I don't know. Fatigue. I'm really get tired. Before I had to go to work, so I was getting up and going. Feeling overwhelmed. I really don't feel that. Food cravings a little bit. Headache. The only reason I had a headache the other day was because of this glasses. I switched out my glasses. Increased sensitivity to rejection. Yes. Lack of concentration, most definitely. Self-critical thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Water retention or weight gain. There was one on here that wasn't on here. Suicidal thoughts. Did I say that one? It's not on here.
It's part of depression, though.
But most of the stuff, this is a lot of things, but usually I don't even notice it. So what I've done for years is self-medicate myself with alcohol. So now that I'm pretty much sober and only get drunk on shot about it, like seriously, but the symptoms, they just really suck. And the ones that are bothering me right now, the ones that affect me so much is like right now it's my brain fog. Get brain fog and it sucks, and I'm experiencing
And the joint pain.
The joint pain and the brain fog. Those two are the ones that are most horrible. And I've even considered getting medical marijuana because there in Arizona it is, you can get medical marijuana for chronic pain, which I definitely fucking have. But then I'm afraid because of getting a job and all that shit. Because I can't just collect unemployment. But even though, I'm applying for jobs and all that, and I have some mandatory employment thing I have to go to on Wednesday. But PMDD affects relationships, and I'm in a group on Facebook that where a lot of women are just where I was, like, when I first got diagnosed, and that was where I was wanting to kill myself. I was so unhappy. I was in unhappy relationships,